And Cynthia McKinney, former Congresswoman and presidential candidate, has long supported Mumia, and he has actually endorsed her run for the presidency. She joins me now from Georgia to talk about today's events. Very good to see you there, Cynthia. So on June 19th of 2009, you wrote a letter to U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder to request that the Justice Department conduct a civil rights investigation of this particular case. Have you heard back from him?
The sad answer that I have to give you is no. And unfortunately, that's why we have to do everything that we can now to impress upon the Department of Justice, President Obama, that for once, please speak up and speak out and save the life of this man who is innocent, who is clearly innocent. Now, I happened to be in Philadelphia at the time of the oral arguments in his appeal. And I read the decision of the judges. It was very clear in that legal document that Mumia did not get a fair trial. The underlying trial that saw Mumia found guilty was not a fair trial. And of course, now we can see in hindsight, we have the situation with Oscar Grant's murder by the police, and we see what happened there. There is a consistent and steady thread that runs throughout the U.S. criminal justice system. It has since the founding of this country. And that is that there is not going to be a standard that is applied to everyone. There will be a standard for blacks, and that standard is unjust. A USA Today investigation documented over 200 criminal cases across the country in which federal judges found prosecutorial misconduct. And that is exactly what we saw in the original case, the underlying case for Mumia Abu-Jamal. Unfortunately, today is a very important day because we've got now a different set of oral arguments that will determine whether or not Mumia has the opportunity to live. We need intervention from the White House. I don't know, we remain hopeful, but I don't know if that intervention is going to come. However, there's one thing that I also think is important to note, and that is that it is now at this very moment that the Universal Periodic Review at the United Nations is going on. And so the whole world is watching what is going on inside the United States now, whether it's housing, education, healthcare, you name it. The entirety of the United States itself is under review, is under scrutiny by the world. Certainly the criminal justice system, which I say is criminal for its injustice, deserves to be reviewed as well.
And you're saying, you know, the whole world is watching, and this is definitely a point that I wanted to touch upon, because this movement, this man, he's sort of become a global icon. I mean, he has a street in Paris named after him. People are taking to the streets, not just in the United States, but all over the world. You have members of parliament coming out to support him, important political figures, not only questioning the case, but as you said, the system in general. Where is that questioning going to lead? Just like I asked Dr. Malik Shabazz, is anything going to change?
Well, I have to continue to believe in the capacity for change, but nothing is going to change unless the will of the people directs that change. We saw what happened.
So, Cynthia, is it a matter that people are just sort of comfortable and complacent where things are, and they might not want that change, or a majority of people? Are you saying that this is not the will of the people?
What I'm suggesting is that U.S. democracy, and we have to put that in quotation marks, does not reflect the will of the people. From even the very elections that just took place not too long ago within the context of Democrat versus Republican, when a majority of the people now identify themselves as independent, but that independent voice cannot be expressed at the ballot box in all 50 of our states. So we have a lot of justice infrastructure that needs to be worked on. Is it the will of the people that the United States kill innocent people here and kill innocent people abroad? I don't think so. But that is what we get from our elected leadership that I don't think is reflective of the will of the people or the values of the American people.
You know, I read a transcript of Mumia's reporting from Death Row for Prisoner Radio, and he said something really interesting in reference to you and your candidacy, but it's probably also a reflection of his case as well, and perhaps the death penalty. He said, quote, "People say they want change, but do they really? Many are terrified of change. They want the safety of the routine, the comfort of predictability."
Yes. Yes, we do have to question how much change people want. I think people wanted enough change. They had enough hope in their idea of change that they did something that this country has never done before. They voted to put candidate Barack Obama into the White House. They voted to put a black man into the White House. I think that in and of itself is reflective of the American people's idea that they want change. Unfortunately, they didn't get it. They didn't get it from candidate Obama. They didn't get it from the Democratic Party. They didn't get it, and they certainly won't get it from the Republican Party. But I think that...
So where are they going to get it? Where are they going to get it from? Are they going to get it at all? If you say you're not going to get it from the Democrats, you're not going to get it from the Republicans, where are you going to get it?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, they'll begin to get part of it from Russia Today. Because look at the amount of time that you are devoting to this very, very important issue, this very important question. So the American people are going to have to abandon CNN and Fox and all of the other special interest media that we have and look where they can find a reflection of what is actually happening inside our own country.
There's definitely very little media coverage of this. Cynthia McKinney, former U.S. presidential candidate and Congresswoman, thanks so much for your time today.